Welcome, everyone, to this episode where we discuss CRISPR gene editing and its revolutionary impact, especially looking at that breakthrough with baby KJ Muldoon.
Absolutely. It's so intriguing how one tiny error in a DNA sequence can now be precisely edited.
Exactly. It's like our very own molecular toolkit that can act as, these incredible scissors for
Indeed.
DNA. This technology has not only changed medicine, but is also reshaping the way we think of evolution and our role in it.
Yeah, and with the base editing approach used in KJ's case, they didn't even have to make a full cut to fix the gene, right?
Right. It's like instead of hacking away at a strand, you just change one letter in the code. It's sort of a subtle tweak rather than a
Yeah,
drastic
exactly.
snip. This minimizes the risks inherent in traditional DNA cutting.
And that really sped up the whole process too. I mean, going from diagnosis to treatment in what, 6 months? That's unprecedented.
Yeah, talk about lightning speed. Researchers sequenced KJ's genome to pinpoint that one error causing his CPS1 deficiency, then designed a custom base editor, and within 6 months,
That's
he
insanely
was treated.
fast.
It's a record pace that redefines what's possible in personalized medicine.
I'm curious though, doesn't the precision of base editing also come with some risks? Like, what about potential off target effects?
Oh, absolutely. There are always those concerns. Scientists are monitoring closely because even though base editing is more precise than traditional CRISPR, there are possibilities of unintended alterations. And then there's
Yep,
the
exactly.
issue of cellular mosaicism, where not every cell gets edited.
That sounds a bit like trying to paint a masterpiece with half the canvas missing, doesn't it?
Well, sorta, yeah. It's like if you fix one spot but leave others untouched, you get a patchwork result. And that's why long term monitoring is absolutely critical.
Right,
They need
indeed.
to watch for any delayed or unforeseen consequences over the years.
So while the immediate recovery seems miraculous, there's a whole ongoing study about how these edits might play out later on.
Exactly. And interestingly, this breakthrough isn't just about cure, it opens up so many doors. Imagine applications in agriculture, disease vector control, even conservation efforts. CRISPR could reshape our approach to
That's
many
a huge deal,
challenges.
right? Like developing crops that can thrive in changing climates or rebalancing ecosystems.
Yep, it's like having a versatile toolkit. But, this versatility also brings some ethical weight. People are really asking, aren't we crossing some lines by editing the very blueprint
Absolutely.
of
That's the
life?
crux of the debate. It's kind of like the classic playing God debate, right? On one hand, you have this potential to cure and transform lives. On the other, there are fears of unforeseen effects, or even the idea of designer babies.
Yes, exactly. There are deep philosophical and religious questions. Should we be meddling in our own evolution? And the prospect of enhancing traits rather than just treating diseases has everyone talking.
True, true. And here's something to think about: the cost. With KJ's treatment reportedly hitting over $2 million, is this technology only for those who can afford it?
That's a major concern, indeed. It's like we have these miraculous treatments, but if only the wealthy can access them, we risk widening existing health
Exactly.
disparities. Equitable distribution is a huge challenge here.
It raises the question about public health policy and international governance. Will there be a global framework to ensure fair access?
Right, and that's where regulatory bodies come into play. There's a patchwork of regulations from the FDA in the US to strict controls in the EU and evolving frameworks in China.
Yeah, it's like a regulatory maze. But do you think these regulatory efforts are sufficient to handle the pace at which CRISPR technology is evolving?
Well, that's where I respectfully challenge that view. Some argue that current regulations are playing catch up. Given the rapid advancements, our ethical and legal frameworks might just be lagging behind the technology. It's an
I see your
ongoing
point.
global debate.
And with the potential applications beyond just human health, like in agriculture or even conservation, the regulatory landscape really becomes even more complicated.
Exactly, it's like having multiple complex layers. On one hand, you have incredible promise, like curing diseases such as cystic fibrosis or Huntington's, and on the other, there's the risk of unintended genomic consequences, or
Right,
ecosystem
absolutely.
impacts.
Speaking of risks, what about those historical parallels? It reminds me of past medical breakthroughs that were initially met with fear.
Yep, think of vaccines or even IVF. Initially, there were wild fears, like vaccines turning people into cows or IVF being unnatural. But they eventually revolutionized medicine.
True
It
story.
suggests that with time and careful regulation, we might overcome these initial trepidations about CRISPR too.
So it's a matter of balancing cautious optimism with ethical foresight.
Precisely. And what's really fascinating is that advanced genome editing, like what we saw in KJ's treatment, spells not just a miracle cure, but also a paradigm shift in personalized medicine.
Yeah, absolutely. The idea of tailoring treatments to an individual's unique genetic makeup is like something straight out of science fiction.
It really is. It's like poets once wrote about changing fate with magic, and now we're literally
Right
editing
on.
life's code. And that brings us to another key point: public engagement.
Yes, educating the public is so vital. People need to understand both the triumphs and the risks so they can be part of shaping the future guidelines for this technology.
Exactly. It isn't just scientists making decisions. Patient advocates, ethicists, policymakers, every voice matters in determining how these innovations should evolve.
Definitely. And while we're discussing the ethical implications, how do you see the balance between treating diseases and potential enhancements?
That's a tough nut to crack, really. On one side, curing diseases like CPS1 deficiency is an unequivocal good. But then there's the slippery slope to designer babies and enhancements that aren't necessarily medical.
Exactly, that's
It's a
the caution.
debate that's as philosophical as it is scientific.
And what about the playing God argument? Surely that has earned its place in the discussion too.
Yes, the moral and religious dimensions are profound. Some see CRISPR as overstepping natural boundaries, while others argue that medicine has always been about intervening in nature. It
Right?
really forces us all to reconsider what it means to be human.
Speaking of intervention, the collaborative nature of modern genetic research really stands out compared to old school mad scientist stereotypes.
Absolutely. Modern CRISPR research is highly regulated and involves multidisciplinary teams, from clinicians and scientists to ethicists
Yeah,
and
that's
patient
reassuring.
advocates. It's a far cry from the lone, reckless genius trope.
And with all these discussions, it seems like we're at the crossroads of miraculous innovation and serious ethical contemplation.
Yes, it's a balancing act. On one hand, we have the transformative potential to revolutionize treatment for over 10,000 rare genetic disorders. And on the other, we must tread carefully to prevent unintended long-term consequences.
Couldn't agree more. In the end, it appears that CRISPR is more than just a scientific breakthrough. It's a call for responsible innovation and inclusive decision making.
Exactly. It's about forging ahead with both eyes open, ensuring that while we push the boundaries of what's possible, we also safeguard against risks and inequities.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, I think, sums up the dual edged nature of CRISPR: immense promise tempered by profound responsibility.
Right. And as we continue to witness such advances, ongoing public dialogue will be crucial. By engaging all stakeholders, we can create ethical frameworks that support
Indeed.
innovation while safeguarding our shared future.
It's a future where hopefully science and society grow together responsibly, learning from past breakthroughs while navigating new challenges.
Exactly. And as we wrap up today's discussion, remember that each scientific stride, from CRISPR based editing to its applications in agriculture or conservation, has the potential to transform lives if managed with care and
Yep,
ethical
absolutely.
insight.
It's truly a remarkable time to be part of this journey of discovery and responsibility. And I look forward to how these technologies evolve.
And so do I. Thanks for joining in on this fascinating dive into the CRISPR revolution, its breakthroughs, and the ethical paths we must navigate.
Thanks indeed. Cheers to a future where science meets humanity with open eyes and measured steps.